טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יננאי יננננננאי. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יננאי יננננננאי. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Hi, I'm Lihi and I brought some of my family along. This is Dave.
Hi.
And Aviv.
Hello.
And we're going to recite the Shehecheyanu for you. The Shehecheyanu is a blessing for first times. The first time we do something new during the year, or the first time we're celebrating a holiday. And we say we are so grateful to be alive, to have been sustained, and to have made it and reached this moment in time. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'hihiyanu lazman hazeh.
Shana Tova. 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 Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova. Shana Tova. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
Good morning, everyone. Shana Tova. You can hear me? Great. My name is Amy Siegel. I run an organization called The Living Room. We host fun events of dancing and Havdalah. And I am also a student earning my doctorate in physical therapy. And I'm so excited to be here leading a small movement activity for you guys. So let's jump right in and I'll sort of explain as we go. It'll be very simple. So just follow me. We'll start by bowing our head gently. Yep, you don't have to look at me. Just listen to my voice. Taking a breath. Feeling a little stretch in the neck. Undoing a bit of that zoom neck that sort of pulls our head forward. And then coming over to one side. So ear to the shoulder. Good, light stretch. I feel it here. And then using your eyes to take you to the back diagonal, upper back diagonal. And feel how the body might twist a little when you do that. Lovely, and coming back to center. And we'll do it again to the other side. So just bow the head. And then slowly rolling it, side bend, other ear to other shoulder. Good. Feeling that stretch, take a breath. And then looking, eyes leading, looking over to the back diagonal of your of your room, of your living room, of your kitchen, seeing something, see something in that corner, see a plant, see a pet. So the eyes are active. And then the body brings you back to center. Good, and again, bow the head. Breath. And the reason we're starting with the head is because it's Rosh Hashanah. And ear to shoulder. And Rosh Hashanah, Rosh meaning head, is the head of the year. And that means we get to set the tone for the year. So the head sets the tone also for the body, looking to the back upper diagonal. Good, and coming back to center, body leading. Bow the head again. Repetition is everything. Good. Breathing. Other ear to other shoulder. And then upper back diagonal. See something. Good, and so coming back to center, and what I mean by that is the head is actually can be a coordinating mechanism for the body. And this actually has a neurological basis, meaning there are nerves that go from the eyes that coordinate all the little muscles of the head and neck. So with that in mind, let's stand up for a little bit. Stand with me. Good. Shake it out, shake it out. Thanks, guys. It means a lot to me when you move with me. Okay. And so we're just going to do a little movement exploration in which we play with the idea that the head moves the rest of the body. So just take a moment to move the head and see if the body wants to follow. It's simple. It's just a simple idea. See where the body goes. Maybe you have head problems and it gets, droopy. Using the eyes to look at something, look at the ceiling. The body doesn't have to move as one. We have these vertebrae in the spine that allow us to, spiral. Good, and bring that movement exploration to a close. Find your chair. Thank you so much, Marnina and Shay and Neil, for having me. It is an utter delight. Wishing you all Shana Tova and to a year of more freedom in the neck.
Loving life and its mysterious source with all our heart and all our spirit, all our senses and strength, we take upon ourselves and into ourselves these promises, to care for the earth and those who live upon it, to pursue justice and peace, to love kindness and compassion.
We will teach this to our children through the passage of the day as we dwell in our homes and as we go on our journeys from the time we rise until we fall asleep. And may our actions be faithful to our words, that our children's children may live to know.
Truth and kindness have embraced. Peace and justice have kissed and are one.
Shana Tova.
Jump like
What does love feel like?
love feels like something when it comes to you. Either way. Like if someone walks by and you really like them, then and you really have your heart pumping and you really like them, and you think about trying to kiss them or saying something, then it's kind of love, okay? Love is something that you really want to feel when you are feeling mad or sad, and if you feel love, then it makes you feel better. Peace and joy from Emmanuel and Akira. Peace!
Yes, thank you, Akira. Love is what you really want to feel when you're feeling mad or sad. So well said. The Baruch, Shema, and V'ahavta have led us into the, shall we say, rip open the pomegranate moment of our Rosh Hashanah service, the Amidah, and our special High Holidays liturgy. Today we sing Zochrenu, let us be remembered for the book of life. We sing Avinu Malkeinu, let compassion and mercy guide us. We sing Berosh Hashanah, wake up, make amends, live the life you mean to live today, this moment. And we read Unatana Tokef, in this uncertain, fragile existence, let our collective actions write a book of life. Like Akira said, we might be feeling mad or sad or lost or numb right now. Sometimes when we finally get it open, the pomegranate is more tart than sweet, and it stains our fingers and our clothes. In the opening line of the Amidah, together, publicly, as a community, we ask simply for the ability to speak words of praise, to open our eyes to what is beautiful in this messy, miraculous world. This is it. Please rise in body or spirit for the Amidah. Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagit Tehilatecha. Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagit Tehilatecha.
Zachreinu lechaim, melech hafetz b'chaim, v'chatfeinu b'sefer hachaim, lemancha Elohim hayim. Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Vaneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Vaneinu, Ki ein banu masim. Aseh imanu, tzedakah justice and mercy to all. Oh, guide us and teach us, grant justice and mercy. We shall be free once again. Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Vaneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Vaneinu, Ki ein banu masim. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed ve'oshienu. Berosh Hashanah yekatevun, uvyom tzom kippur, yom tzom kippur yechatemun. Berosh Hashanah yekatevun, uvyom tzom kippur, yom tzom kippur yechatemun. Uvyom tzom kippur, yom tzom kippur yechatemun.
An alternative Unitanit Tokef, adopted by Rabbi Joseph B. Mesler. On Rosh Hashanah it is written, on Yom Kippur it is sealed, that this year people will live and die, some more gently than others, and nothing lives forever. But amidst overwhelming forces of nature and humankind, we still write our own book of life, and our actions are the words in it. And the stages of our lives are the chapters, and nothing goes unrecorded ever. Every deed counts. Everything you do matters. And we never know what act or word will leave an impression or tip the scale. So if not now, then when? For the things we can change, there is teshuvah, realignment. For the things we cannot change, there is tefillah, prayer. For the help that we can give, there is tzedakah, justice. Together, let us write a beautiful book of life for all of us to read.
Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagim gad lecha, ulenetzach netzachim, ulenetzach netzachim, kedushatcha nakdish, ulenetzach netzachim, ulenetzach netzachim, kedushatcha nakdish.
Our prayers echo our ancestors' prayers, Ledor Vador, from generation to generation. And our Torah, a collection of our ancestors' stories and laws, connects us to the past and future generations. When we add our own Torah, our own teachings, we keep it alive. In just a moment, we'll hear a retelling of the story of the golden calf from JLC parent Josh Siegel. You may have also heard his Torah as a writer of The Good Place, which is a source of spiritual nourishment to myself and many. But first, we'll be led into our Torah service with energy and with joy by Aaron, Poppy, Anya, and Miri, singing a JLC and camp favorite, Tree of Life. Feel free to get your wiggles out now.
It is the tree of life to those who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is the tree of life to those who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom,
Well, Shana Tova, I'm Josh Siegel. I'm so pleased to be part of this gorgeous day with all of you. My connection to the SIJCC is that I've been a JLC parent for 8+ years. And the Torah story we're telling today, they're not the traditional verses for Rosh Hashanah, but we chose those verses for how they play on our Rosh Hashanah themes of new connections and community. Exodus 32 is the story of the golden calf. Now in this story, the Israelites and a mixed multitude have escaped from Egypt, and Moses has gone up Mount Sinai to bring back the 10 Commandments. Moses said he would return in 40 days, but after 40 days, he was nowhere in sight. And according to the rabbis, the people included the day Moses set off in their calculations, but Moses had excluded it. So while Moses is up on Mount Sinai receiving the 10 Commandments, he's taken long enough that the Israelites down below have grown restless. Those people gather before Moses's brother, and they say, essentially, we don't know when or if Moses is coming back. Can you make us a God that we can pray to right now? You know, it's a pretty tall order, kind of the ultimate DIY project. Aaron, perhaps scared of this forming mob, asks everyone to bring him the gold rings of their wives and sons and daughters, and he melts it all into a golden calf and says, "Here is your God." Soon after, the people drink and dance and bring burnt offerings to this false idol, thrilled to have something tangible to worship. The Lord hears of this and is furious that the people that were delivered from the land of Egypt cast aside their one true God so quickly. God wants to destroy all those who did this, but Moses begs for their lives, and God agrees. Moses goes down from the mountain and becomes furious himself, but after initiating his own punishment for those who transgressed, he's able to bring those that stayed true back into the light. Now, when we think about worshiping false idols in modern times, there's obviously many to choose from. If you're anything like me, you have a pedestal full of people you've turned them into heroes and saviors, whether they've earned that status or not. But the moment that resonates loudly with me in the wake of this year that we've all been through, this turmoil we're all still navigating, is the part of the story where God asked his people for patience. And the silence of those 40 days and nights proved simply too much to bear. So in this moment in our story, the Israelites have seen the power of God in action, having been delivered from slavery, the Red Sea parting for them and swallowing their tormentors. And mere weeks later, these people are still choosing to break their pact with God because God has taken too long to give them more peace. So this is a group of people who have seen with their own eyes that which is good and healthy and holy, have felt in their bones the power of that which saved them, but the relative silence that follows, it still crushes them. So when looking at this story, I had to think to myself, how often do we do this? How often do I do this? How often do I know what is right and good for me? What would bring me genuine peace and love and joy and maybe even closer to God, only to decide instead to fill the silence in my life in ways that are understandable, but ultimately destructive and frankly soul deadening. So today I am thinking of the golden calf not simply as a false idol, but as everything I reach for to make me feel better at whatever moment I decide I would rather feel better than do whatever work would actually make me better. My golden calf is the food I eat when I am not hungry because sugar gives my thoughts an artificially rosy glow. My golden calf is my phone, which offers an infinite number of things I can think about instead of where I actually am in the universe at any moment. My golden calf is the sense of humor that I hold so dear, which I turn to every time I want to break the tension when life gets a little too real. That's a thing I say to myself all the time. Oh, things got a little too real. And in this moment, I'm really struck by what I'm actually saying about those moments, that I was uncomfortable because things weren't fake enough, that I would have been happier in those moments if they had not been filled with truth, but if instead they'd been fun little lies. The Golden Calf is a story about a group of people who saw God's power with their own eyes, and just a few weeks later, they were like, that was cool, but what happens now, right? And they don't have Postmates, and they can't turn on Ted Lasso. So they say, oh, you know what would be great right now if God was here? So they make one instead of waiting in discomfort for what is true. How often do I reach for my phone instead of my partner or my children? How often do I fill up silence with a joke instead of waiting a few moments to see if my discomfort with another person's pain or my own pain can lead instead to understanding and genuine connection? My honest answer is all the time. What would happen if more of us, individually, in our institutions, as a nation, sat simply with our own discomfort and fear instead of reaching for that tangible thing that brings us short-term peace but not long-term growth? What would happen if instead of reaching for my phone or my television or the sarcasm I am so unreasonably proud of, if I simply turned to the people all around me and said, I'm really scared that I don't know what's going to happen next. My friends, I am scared that I don't know what is going to happen next. Help me hold on and wait for what is true.
Thank you, Josh Siegel, for sharing that Torah story with us. I'm Sarah Greenfield, and I've been teaching at SIJCC for 8 years. Through my Jewish Learning Center second graders, I've seen how Torah stories can open minds and hearts. We follow the Torah reading with prayers for healing and peace, because we hope that our ancestral stories and laws will bring us strength and healing and inspire us to make the world a better place together as a community. We've seen so much pain and suffering, locally and globally this year, and we are holding in our minds and hearts everyone in our lives and in our world who may be in need of physical or spiritual healing, even ourselves. In the chat, please name anyone in particular for whom you are wishing refuah shlema, a complete healing in this new year. Gabby Ben Shimon from our teen program will lead us in a song for healing.
Hi y'all, I'm Jordana Lipsitz and I'm videoing in from Austin, Texas to share a little Jewish nerdism with you, or Torah, Talmud, whatever we're calling it. I'm a writer, community organizer, and preschool teacher. When I was a blue jean baby LA lady, Eastside Jews and the SIJCC was my home base. So even though I live 24 hours away now, I'm still clinging on. I just can't quit you. Speaking of preschool teaching, technology and pandemic living and being children has made it nearly impossible for my class of older twos to sit still for our 5 to 10 minute circle times. The other day, I was trying to engage these babies with a song about the different sounds that the shofar makes. Shvarim, Tekiah, and Shua. It wasn't cutting it. The classroom was pandemonium with screams and masks flying off faces. It was a nightmare. Then I whipped out my phone and I played the sounds of an actual shofar service. Complete silence. I don't know if all Jewish souls were at Sinai, but I do know that the souls of the children were at restful attention for one of the few times in their beautiful tiny lives, and they just listened. The 3 sounds our favorite ram's horn makes correspond to the 3 blessings of the shofar service: Melchiot, Zikronot, and Shofarot. Melchiot, kingliness, reminds us that our alleged super ancestor, Adam, was allegedly created on Rosh Hashanah and given kingship over all he saw. It's a responsibility to take care of the world, and one we should all take to heart as our planet screams for love. The next blessing, Zikronot, remembrances, makes my inner faith-raised little heart just pitter-patter because all I can think of is Santa Claus. God sees us when we're sleeping, knows when we're awake, then judges us for all of our deeds and remembers all of the deeds throughout history. No lumps of coal, though. This God figure isn't some white bearded bro. They're a merciful one. Again, allegedly. Finally, after much anticipation, we get to Shofarot, the actual sounding of the shofar. Our guy, Maimonides, explains this one best as a Jewish alarm clock. Sleepers, wake up from your slumber. Examine your ways and repent and remember the Creator. May this new year be the year we are awakened to the needs of our community in Los Angeles, in Texas, at home and abroad. Thank you for staying tuned and being here with us in community on this holiest of days. As one of my favorite preschool teachers in the world, shout out SIJCC, Maura Debbie would say, kiss your brains, you're doing a great job. If you don't do it, I'll know, just like Santa Claus. Kiss your brains. Shana Tova, friends. May you have a sweet, sweet new year.
That was really beautiful. I just want to thank Jordana and Gabby. Speaking of alarm clocks and waking up, we're all gonna have a chance to do that in a minute with a little bit of communal sharing and listening. But before I say more, I would love to read this short poem by Marilyn Nelson. Generous listening. A conversation can be a contest or a game of catch with invisible balloons. They bounce between us, growing and shrinking, sometimes floating like cloud medicine balls, and sometimes bowling at us like round anvils. You toss a phrase and understanding blooms, find like an anemone of colored lights. My mind fireworks with unasked questions. Who is this miracle speaking to me? And who is this miracle listening? What amazingness are we creating? Out of gray matter, a star sparks of thought, leaps between synapses into the air, and pours through gray matter into my heart. How can I not listen generously? So I want to invite everyone again to turn on your videos. You don't have to be on, right? You can just be you and be seen. I'm about to send you all into small breakout groups for only 7 minutes. And before you quickly log off or run away, I want to remind folks that we are building community relationships today by being brave enough to be awkward and vulnerable and embrace a little bit of discomfort. And also you might have a great time and meet your new bestie. So in these very quick 7-minute rooms, we are going to take turns answering a prompt and then be good listeners to the answers of others. So just a reminder, good listening doesn't involve asking questions or giving feedback. It just means being present yourself and holding space for someone else. So the prompt, which I'll send to the rooms, but as it relates to Malchuyot, kingliness, is what currently rules you and the communities you are a part of. So that could be local, global, your friend groups, Jewish spaces. And what do you want to be ruled by? What currently rules you and the communities you're part of, and what do you want to be ruled by? All right, I'm going to send everyone off, and we will see folks very soon.
Going back.
Welcome back. I hope you had such enriching breakout rooms. I'm loving what I'm seeing in the chat here, what we're holding in our hearts that we want to free ourselves from and what we want to lead us into the new year. So holding on to that thought, we're going to bless the listening of to the shofar, and we'll hear our first shofar blasts for Malchuyot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishmoa kol shofar. Ay, ay, ay.
Tekiah, Shavarim, Tekiah, Tekiah, Shavarim, Tekiah, Tekiah, Shavarim, Tekiah, Tekiah.
Let's take a collective breath for all of those 5782 wishes. And now we move into our Zichronot, remembrances section of the shofar service. We call in the memories of our ancestors, our literal ancestors, our just collective ancestors, those who we claim as our ancestors, on the screen, in the chat, and though you're muted, we welcome you to say the names of those we've lost out loud.
This is my original song. It's called Caravan, and it imagines us all walking in the desert of life, following in our ancestors' footsteps. Following the caravan, headed to the promised land. I can't see the front and I can't see the end, and I don't know if there's a plan. First you lead, then you follow, follow. 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 Follow those who came before. It's more than just a metaphor. We're all stepping toward the future, looking forward to the promise of a better day. Leading with my heart open, I put it in my art, hoping that someone will listen someday. You know that it's somehow gonna be okay. Where this goes, I cannot know. Another place far away. Where this ends, I don't know when. Another day far away. Where this goes, I cannot know. Another place far away. Where this ends, I don't know when. Another day I'll follow, follow. First you lead, then you 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 follow, follow. Following the caravan, we're headed to the promised land.
May their memories be a blessing.
Rhythmic cadences of Kaddish are soothing to us, both in mourning and over the years, as we say it at Yardsite and at Yitzker to remember our loved ones. We say the prayer as a community because none of us is alone in mourning. Please rise in body or spirit if it is your practice. Yit Gadal V'Yekadash Shemei Rabah V'Amal Divrah Jirute V'Imlach Machute Behekion Uvmekion Uvkaye Dekol Bet Yisrael Ba'agalah Ubizman Kariv V'Rimaru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mavorak Leila Umeomaya Yitbarak V'Yishtaba V'Yitabar V'Yitaman V'Nase V'Yitadar V'Yitalev L'Talam Shmei Dekushira Berhu Leila Min Kol Birhata V'Shirata Tushbehata V'Nehemata Damiran Ba'alma V'Maru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Min Shemaya V'Chaim Aleinu V'Akol Yisrael V'Maru. Amen. Asay Shalom B'Marav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'Akol Yisrael V'Maru. Amen. May their memories be a blessing.
The Declaration of Interdependence by Richard Blanco, including the Burroughs, Matzes, and Bhattacharya's. Such has been the patient sufferance, where a mother's bread instant potatoes, milk at a checkout line. Were her 3 children pleading for bubblegum and their father? Were the 3 minutes she steals to page through a tabloid, needing to believe even stars' lives are as joyful and bruised? Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. Were her second job serving an executive, absorbed in his Wall Street Journal at a sidewalk cafe, shadowed by skyscrapers? Were the shadows of the fortune he won and the family he lost? Were his loss and the lost? Were a father in a coal town who can't mine a life anymore because too much and too little has happened for too long? A history of repeated injuries and usurpations. Were the grit of his main streets blacked out windows and graffiti truths? Were a street in another town lined with royal palms? At a home with a Peace Corps couple who collect African art? Were their dinner party, talk of wines, wielded picket signs, and burned draft cards? For what they know, it's time to do more than read the New York Times, buy fair trade coffee, and organic corn. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress. Were the farmer who grew the corn, who plows into his couch as worn as his back by the end of the day? Or his TV set blaring news, having everything and nothing to do with the field dust in his eyes, or his son nested in the ache of his arms? Or his son? Or a Black teenager who drove too fast or too slow, talked too much or too little, moved too quickly, but not quick enough? Or the blast of a bullet leaving the gun, or the guilt and the grief of the cop who wished he hadn't shot? We mutually pledged to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. We're the dead, we're the living amid the flicker of a vigil candlelight. We're in a dim cell with an inmate reading Dostoevsky. We're his crime, his sentence, his amends. We're the mending of ourselves and others. We're a Buddhist serving soup at a shelter alongside a stockbroker. We're each other's shelter and hope. A widow's 50 cents in a collection plate and a golfer's $10,000 pledge for a cure. We hold these truths to be self-evident. We're the cure for hatred caused by despair. We're the good morning of a bus driver who remembers our name, a tattooed man who gives up his seat on the subway. We're every door held open with a smile when we look into each other's eyes and the way we behold the moon. We're the moon. We're the promise of one people, one breath declaring to one another, I see you, I need you, I am you.
We're now going to hear the Zichronot shofar blasts. Thank you so much, Allison. And these are the remembrance blasts, and we invite you to say the calls along with the screen at home.
Hi, everybody. I'm community member Dan Fields. This is my wife, Ami, our kids, Lila and Kieran. In the early years of our marriage, Ami and I felt lost in the wilderness, first in New York and then in Los Angeles. We tried to find our place in the Jewish community as an intermarried biracial family. After moving to Los Feliz, we found ourselves at a couple of fun, progressive, and welcoming Hanukkah festivals. And we soon started our 2 kids in the Jewish Learning Center classes on Sundays and attended some Passover Seders. We met some really nice folks and also became closer with some acquaintances who also attended JLC. And pretty soon it felt like a kind of family. Over the years, we had made sporadic donations to support the high holidays and the other programming, but you know how it all is with these kind of things. Campaigns go by and competing interests all need and ask for support, and our giving was inconsistent. So a couple of years ago, we tried a new approach. We picked an amount to give for the year and we divvied it up into a monthly amount, and we set up a recurring monthly donation. We set it and forget it. And now the JCC knows that they can rely on our monthly donation and can focus energy on outreach to the rest of this warm and generous community. If set it and forget it sounds good to you, then I encourage you to click a couple of boxes on the SIJCC website and make your donation recurring and ongoing. Any amount, truly any amount, serves as sustainment for this wonderful place. Start small if that suits you, and increase next year if you can. That's what we're doing this year, and I hope you'll join us in contributing to the sustainment funding of SIJCC. Shana Tova, wishing you all a sweet new year and a safe and peaceful 5782.
Thank you, Dan and family, and thank you for being monthly supporters. We appreciate everyone who helps make this community work. It only works with everyone's support, contributing what they're able. And as Dan said, really any amount does count. You can go on to sijcc.net/donate to set up a monthly recurring donation. And everybody who sets up a new monthly recurring donation of at least $36 is going to get a cute new SIJCC tote bag. It's a little thank you from us. So thank you all for your support. Before we move on to our final shofar blasts of our experience together this morning, I just want to take a moment for gratitude. Gratitude especially to Marnina, who's worked so hard to make this experience together so meaningful and so warm, and to every single person who helped contribute with your poetry, with your songs, with your reflections. What an amazing community we have, and what an amazing morning together. Lastly, I just want to encourage you, if you have not yet voted in the election, please do so. Make that part of your holiday experience. Get that ballot in, put it in the mail, bring it to a Dropbox, show up at the polls in a week or so. So thank you all for contributing to our wellness as a whole society as well. Thank you for being here. I'm going to turn it over now to Marnina's parents, Diane and Josh Wirtschafter, for our final send-off with the shofar. We're going to unmute you in just a second. Bear with us.
We can let this be our final wake-up call. This is the shofarot blast. This is our last shofar blowing of the day. So let it awaken something in you. If you feel like you're still a little bit asleep, or there's some part of you that you could wake up, let this shofar blast do that for you. All right, here you go, Mama and Papa.
Tekiah. Teruah, Tekiah, Tekiah, Teruah, Tekiah, Tekiah, Teruah. Tekiah Gedolah.
Wow. Wow.
Yasher Koach. Hayom, 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 te'amsenu, amen. Hayom, 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 hayom. hayom, 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 hayom tegadlenu, amen. Hayom, 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 tidrashenu letova, amen. Hayom, 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 tiftavenu lechayim tovim, amen.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam.
Shana Tova Umetika Yasher Koach to everyone, and thank you so much to all our community leaders, including Neil and Shay and Lisa, and of course Ben on tech, whoop whoop, as well as all of you for showing up today with the willingness to connect. Now please unmute yourselves and wish each other a cacophonous good year.
Shana
Shana Tova.
All right.
Shana Tova.
Shana
Tova, everybody.
Yasher Koach.